Welcome everyone to something a little bit different here. I'm going to be going through doing a mock draft. If you don't know who I am David, half of the duo known as the Hot and Cold Podcast Sports and More. Name's still pending. Might workshop it a little bit, but regardless, we're here. We're going to talk football. This is the first mock draft I've done this year. I have it sitting in front of me. We're going to go through. I'm going to give my thoughts on what I think each team could do, what I have them doing. Talk about the different prospects. This is probably the most in-depth I've ever gone with a draft class. I'm usually not a big draft guy. As much as I love the draft, I'm usually not one to heavily research a lot of prospects. Usually it starts and ends with who I want the Bears to get or who I think the Bears should be going after. This year, I've done more homework. I've had a lot more time. I'm a lot more committed. So we're going to go through, have 32 teams ahead of us. I don't want to go too in-depth. I don't want to make this like an hour-long video. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it, starting with the Jacksonville Jaguars, our first team on the board. Now, this team can go about three ways, I think. I think there's three guys here, maybe four, that you're looking at. Obviously, your top three needs being tackle, edge, and safety. I'm going to go tackle. I think it's very, very important you protect Trevor Lawrence. You don't want him ending up like Andrew Luck. You don't want to run the risk of this guy just completely having his career ruined. He's a generational talent. You want to get him protected. You can worry about getting weapons later on the draft. You have the number one pick in the second round. You have the third round, fourth round, whatever. It's a deep class for weapons. And you're getting Evan Neal, who I'm pretty sure is the consensus number one offensive tackle in this draft. You get a hold of him. He's a freaky athletic dude, going to test really, really well at the combine, probably going to have one of the better combines we've seen out of an offensive lineman in a long time. So I think this is kind of a no-brainer here for the Jaguars. This isn't the best player on the board. This is a team that could go best player available. I'll get to him here in a couple picks. But yeah, I think Evan Neal is the pick here as we move on to the Lions, a team that I've got to be very careful with considering they're a division rival. I don't want people to think I'm purposely picking bad for them or anything. So we're going to take Aiden Hutchinson. And I feel like this is, again, another pick that a lot of people are going to agree with. I don't think this one's too controversial or anything like that. You're looking at a team that doesn't really have a true edge duo. You have Aquara and you have Flowers. And I think Flowers is a guy you can kind of let go. You get rid of him, you're going to free up a lot of money. He's older. He's dealing with a lot of injuries. And Hutchinson just blows Aquara and Flowers out of the water. Like, those guys are solid, but Hutchinson has the potential to get his name up there with the best of the best, like your TJ Watts, your Bosa's, your Max, your Quinns, whoever. He has that type of upside, that type of potential. He's a real strong guy, real high motor. He doesn't quite have the bend that guys like the Bosa brothers do, but he reminds me a lot of another Michigan edge rusher, actually, being Rashawn Gary, who, like I said, is just that strong, high motor type of edge. And I think Hutchinson can be even better than Gary, who is a very good very good edge rusher, in his own right. And the reason I almost slipped up and said safety is because next up we have Kyle Hamilton, who, in my opinion, is the single best player in this draft. I saw Bengal, guy I'm a big fan of. If you don't know who he is, there's a lot more about this whole thing than I do. He compared Kyle Hamilton to a missile, the way he just absolutely flies across the field. And I think that's a great, great analogy to describe him. This guy's sideline to sideline speed, the way he plays the ball, the way he's able to get to the ball is absolutely insane. When you're going to put him back there with Justin Reed, you're going to have one of the best safety duos in football very quickly. You can even move Reed up, kind of let him play up a little bit, let Hamilton be that one deep safety. There's a lot of potential. The sky is the limit with Kyle Hamilton, really. This dude is so, so talented. And I know it's weird having a safety go so high, but he's just such a good football player that it's hard for me to not want to put him as high as possible. Again, I could even see him going first overall. Maybe the Lions get weird and take him second overall, which would scare the hell out of me. But I think he fits best here with the Texans at 3, who can kind of just go BPA. As we move on to the Jets here, kind of the same thought process as the Jaguars need to protect Zach Wilson. You get yourself Ike Ekwonu, who can play right tackle. Maybe you want to flip-flop him. He can play left. He can play right. Him and Mekhi Becton are two just dirty, mauler, run-blocking type tackles, and you're going to absolutely be able to take advantage of the run game with these two. I like the running back room they're building. Real big fan of Michael Carter. Ty Johnson's there as well. I kind of like him. He went to a high school very close to me. He actually went to my high school's rival school. So I kind of have a connection there with Ty Johnson. But regardless, you have Ike Ekwonu, you have Mekhi Becton, and then you also have Elijah Vera Tucker, who isn't quite the mauler in the run game these two are, but it is an extremely great basis to build up your offensive line. You go Ekwonu here at 10, you have a chance to go offensive lineman here again. Or I'm sorry, you go Ekwonu at 4, you have a chance to go offensive lineman here with at the 10th pick, to where you can really, really build up your offensive line. I don't think we're going to do that. We'll get there when we get there, but building up the offensive line to help out Zach Wilson is so, so important. As we move on to number 5, we're going to take another offensive lineman. I have the Giants taking Charles Cross. They need help up front as well. The offensive line is so, so bad in New York. Depending on who the quarterback is, probably will be Daniel Jones. Maybe it's someone else. Maybe it's a certain quarterback who may or may not be viewed as a bust, may or may not have grown up or was born in Mentor, Ohio, went to a certain school down south, maybe in the Carolinas. Maybe he got drafted 2nd overall and played for a certain blue and orange team. Maybe he's starting for the Giants next year. He's there or whatever. But whoever it is, they need protected, and Charles Cross is very technically sound blocker. I think he's one of the safer picks in this class. The Giants could also trade down here, or they could trade down at 7. I'm not doing trades for this mock, so we're not going to be doing all that, but it's definitely possible. As we move down here to the 6th pick with Kenny Pickett. I have Kenny Pickett going to the Panthers. They need a quarterback. They're going to be down horrendous for a quarterback here. And I just think you're getting yourself Kenny Pickett here. He's all right. He's nothing great. He has a connection with Matt Rule. Matt Rule's kind of in that mindset where we need a quarterback now. He's an upgrade from Sam Darnold. He has potential. I'm not saying he's like a bad player by any means, but he's not perfect, I don't really like taking this quarterback this high. Maybe they trade down a little bit for a different quarterback or something. But we're going to go Kenny Pickett here at 6. I had to pause my recording because I realized I made a fatal mistake when I was going through my draft here. I completely forgot that there's kind of this dude he's pretty good at football. His name's Kayvon Thibodeau. When I was looking through my mock draft, I didn't have him mocked for God knows what reason. He could absolutely go way before here. I'm going to have the Giants take him at 7. I love the fit. I can definitely see him going at 5, but I think taking a tackle here, because there is a possibility the Panthers go tackle here at 6. I feel like the Giants are a little bit safer taking him. Panthers go quarterback or tackle, and then you have Thibodeau sitting here at 7. Absolute steal, first of all. Possibly the best player in this class, definitely has the potential to be the best player in this class. I really like the fit with him with the Giants because of their new defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, who is coming over from the Ravens. He worked very closely with Odafe Oweh, who I think is a similar prospect to Thibodeau in the sense that they are very, very athletic type edge guys that aren't necessarily perfectly technically sound. Thibodeau, I would say, is a little bit more so than Oweh. But you put Thibodeau with the Giants, first of all, edge rusher is such an important position. There's going to be a lot of those fly off the board in this first round because it's such a good edge class. But Thibodeau, I really like his fit with the Giants, as I said. So we're going to have him go at number 7. Now with the Falcons, they could go a couple different ways. You could look to go edge here with Jermaine Johnson. Maybe you want to take a different edge. There's a couple guys available. However, I have them taking Derek Stingley. And the reason I have them taking Derek Stingley is because I feel like he's going to have a crazy, crazy combine. And there's always that, 1 or 2 guys that have a really, really good combine that maybe aren't perfect or maybe have some sort of issues, but I think this would be the guy for sure for the Falcons to really come in. You pair him with AJ Terrell, and if you go back and look at his 2019 tape, Derek Stingley really looked like that guy. He really looked like that guy, and that was before he was dealing with some injuries. So maybe it's a little bit different, but the way players are coming back from injuries nowadays, I think Stingley is a guy that you take a risk on, very high, or maybe like medium risk, but super high reward. Because if you end up having Stingley back there with AJ Terrell, that is quite the pairing. As we move on here to the Denver Broncos, again, I'm not doing trades, so we're going to assume that they don't trade for Aaron Rodgers, still in the realm of possibility, but because of that, I have them taking Matt Corral out of Ole Miss. Very much a John Elway type quarterback. The Broncos are a team that are truly a quarterback away. The defense is phenomenal, one of the best, if not the best, in the entire league. They have a really, really good receiver room, really solid tight end room. Running backs are great. The offensive line's really solid. You have some young pieces there that, haven't quite developed yet, but are definitely in the process of doing so. Definitely can blow up. I really like Quinn Miners. Natane Moody I really like as well. Matt Corral, while he isn't my favorite quarterback prospect in this class, he just fits with the Broncos. That's the thing with these quarterbacks. A lot of them are going to get taken higher than they probably should just because of the positional value. And Matt Corral and Kenny Pickett, while I don't love them as prospects, they just fit the two teams that I have them mocked to way too well for me to ignore. As we move on here to number 10, the New York Jets. As I said, they could double up on offensive line here. We're not going to do that. I have them going wide receiver and taking Drake London. Now, London's not my number one receiver in this class by any means. We'll get to him actually a little bit later. But this class, so deep with wide receiver talent. There's so much wide receiver talent this year. And you look at a guy like Drake London, who is your epitome of an X wide receiver, your wide receiver one. He's a big guy. He moves really well. He can be a great deep threat. You have him on one side, Corey Davis on the other. Oh my God, and then Elijah Moore in the slot. Great weapons for the young Zach Wilson. Really setting him up to succeed, unlike they did with Sam Darnold. Really putting him in a position to where, if he's not succeeding, it's no one's fault but his own. And yeah, I think Drake London is a wonderful, wonderful receiver prospect, and we will see a couple receivers go here later on as we get to number 11 with the newly named Washington Commanders. Again, assuming there's no trades, I'm going to have them taking Malik Willis. I think he probably has the highest ceiling out of all the quarterbacks in this draft class. He's not necessarily my favorite. I keep saying that about all the quarterbacks. It's not a great quarterback class, but Malik Willis he's just that guy. He probably like I said, probably has the highest upside out of any quarterback in this class. The Commanders are a young team. They're going to have young talent around him with Terry McLaurin and my boy Diami Brown, who came out of North Carolina. Definitely a good pickup here if they don't end up trading for a quarterback. As we get to number 12 here with the Minnesota Vikings, this pick makes me sad because I really don't like the Vikings, but I'm not going to purposefully pick a bad player for them because of the Vikings. I have them taking Ahmad Gardner, who is probably one of, if not my favorite prospect in this class, partially just because he goes by Sauce Gardner, which is incredible. The dude, he's one of those guys where you're taking him and you're banking on him panning out. You're banking on potential. Has some of the better corner numbers that we've seen coming out of college in a while. This is a guy, the Vikings are just struggling so much at corner, really don't have a clear-cut corner one, and if Gardner can pan out, as a Bears fan, it terrifies me because I know I'm going to be hearing the words Justin Fields picked off by Ahmad Gardner for years to come. I hope I didn't just jinx myself, but regardless, Sauce Gardner, great prospect. Vikings getting a big win here at 12. As we move on to number 13, and the Browns, I think, are going to go wide receiver here. You got to get a number one target for Baker Mayfield. You don't have it after getting rid of Odell. Your number one receiver is who? Donovan Peoples-Jones or Jarvis Landry, and those guys are not number one wide receivers. So I have them taking Treylon Burks out of Arkansas. He is kind of what the Browns want Jarvis Landry to be. he's that type of receiver. He's great at taking a screen pass for big-time yards. He'll really help Baker Mayfield out in the short game. I think Treylon Burks is a great receiver. Still not my number one receiver to this class. We'll get to him here later on. But yeah, he's very solid pickup here for the Browns as we get to number 14 with the the Baltimore Ravens. I was reading on my paper. We get to the Baltimore Ravens here at 14. I have them taking Travon Walker out of Georgia. Now this pick, he's not the best edge on the board right now, but he is your prototypical 4-3 type of edge. Big dude, 6'5", 275, can really play multiple positions, can play inside and outside. You love a player like that. Big dude, really athletic. However, he's overshadowed because of all that talent on that Georgia defense. He's really not getting the hype that he deserves. I think that's going to change come combine season again, just because I feel like he's going to test very, very well at the combine. So I think this is a pretty good pick. You pair him up with the Dafe Owe, and the offensive lines in the AFC North are going to be having some problems going forward in one of the just downright dirtiest divisions in football. As we get to number 15 here with the Philadelphia Eagles, first of their 3 picks, I have them going linebacker here as we get Nakobe Dean out of Georgia. 2 Georgia players back-to-back. Pull up Dean's profile here. He's a little bit smaller, but he's quick. Real good athlete. You have the Butkus Award winner. Very good closing quickness at the quarterback. Really good in zone drops. Cover running backs with ease. Very instinctive. This is the type of guy you want as the leader of your defense, the head of your defense, and the Eagles don't really have that right now. As we get onto their next pick, going to have them going defense again. Going to take an edge rusher here, if it'll let me pick it. I have them taking David Ajabo, who is a super athlete, should kill at the combine, absolutely. There's a lot of guys in this class that are really going to test very well at the combine because they're just height, weight, speed guys. 6'5", 250. He's quick. He's really, really exciting. He has raw talent. Very exciting prospect. I think the Eagles defense gets so much better just with these 2. As we move on to number 17 here with the Chargers, pretty easy pick in my opinion. I'm going to go interior defensive line. We're taking Jordan Davis. Jerry Tillery, can't even say his name right because of how bad he is, might be the worst defensive player in football. He was terrible last year. Big reason why the Chargers let up so many big-time runs throughout the season. Getting a guy like Jordan Davis who is going to plug up that middle is huge for them. They could also look receiver here if a guy like Mike Williams leaves. However, I think this is a bigger need as of this moment. As we move on to the Saints, and I'm going to be making a bit of an assumption here that Teron Armstead is going to leave. And because of that, I have... Oh, shoot. I had it stuck on interior defensive line. I'm making an assumption here. I cannot talk today. That Teron Armstead is going to leave, as I've said. And we're going to be taking Trevor Penning, who is the best tackle left on the board. You need a guy who is going to be your franchise tackle, play opposite Ryan Ramczyk if Teron Armstead leaves, and I think Penning is a really, really good replacement for Armstead if he does leave, As we move on to the Philadelphia Eagles again, and I'm going to have them going offense. We have Jameson Williams out of Alabama. I understand he's coming off of an injury. However, a lot of these guys who tear their ACLs are rebounding so well nowadays. He's a freak athlete, great pair for Devontae Smith, different type of receiver, really gives a new type of dynamic to your offense. I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Kyle Shanahan who said that you should really build your receiver room like an NBA starting 5 in the sense that you want guys with different skill sets, and you get Jameson Williams, who has a different skill set from Devontae Smith, really opens up your offense. Really good pick here by the Eagles. As we get to number 20 with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I hate that he fell this far. I really hate that they have an opportunity to draft this guy, but we have Tyler Linderbaum, the center out of Iowa. You got to build up that offensive line in Pittsburgh. He can play center, he can play guard, either one. They need to build up that front. With Malik Willis off the board, who is apparently their guy you're just building up for whoever ends up starting, whether it's Haskins, Rudolph, Marcus Mariota, whoever. You're also building up to ensure that Najee Harris has a better line to run behind. I just think if you don't have a quarterback there, if you can't trade up, then you are set at number 20 with Tyler Linderbaum. As we get to the New England Patriots, a lot of ways you could go here. You can go corner, you can go receiver. I have them taking a linebacker, and that is going to be Devin Lloyd. And the reason for that is he just fits that Patriot mold. He's a bigger linebacker. Just makes a lot of sense. You know, they like that bigger type of inside backer. Devin Lloyd is that. I think he fits really well here in a Bill Belichick type defense. So that's why, I have the Patriots taking him at 21. This whole thing is a mess. Good Lord. Bear with me here. As we get to number 22 with the Las Vegas Raiders, I have them going offensive line with who did I have them taking? I have them taking Kenyon Green, an interior offensive lineman out of Texas A&M. This is a guy who is an absolute day one starter, plug and play type guy, can play anywhere on the interior of the line. You need that type of help. You need protection for Derek Carr. You need blockers for Josh Jacobs. Offensive line is hurting. You take Kenyon Green. Big time upgrade there. The Cardinals, again, another team that can go a couple ways. There's some good edge guys left on the board, some good corners. I have them going corner, and we're going to be taking Trent McDuffie. I really like the fit here. You build up that secondary, something that you're definitely going to need to do playing in the the NFC West going forward, with teams like the Seahawks and the Rams and the 49ers, the way they're going to be able to air it out. You add him back there with guys like Isaiah Simmons, who kind of plays that hybrid linebacker safety role, Budda Baker, Byron Murphy. Yeah, it's a really, really good pickup for the Cardinals. Really makes their corner room and secondary a lot better. As we get here to the Dallas Cowboys, this might be a little bit of a reach. But in my years of talking to Cowboys fans, the number one thing I always hear them complaining about is their lack of a safety. There's never a good safety in Dallas. And there's a really good safety in this class. Maybe he's not worth a first-round pick, but I'm going to put him here anyways, and that is Daxton Hill out of Michigan. This guy's a really, really good athlete, can play multiple positions. He can play that safety and that slot corner role pretty well. You know, Dallas seems to like versatile defenders. Couldn't think of the word. So you have Daxton Hill and you have Micah Parsons, that same defense. Two very versatile defenders, two very athletic defenders. He will test well at the combine, another guy that's definitely going to kill the combine. And I think the Cowboys would be very, very lucky to get a hold of Daxton Hill. As we get here to 25 with the Buffalo Bills, they need an edge rusher. And there is a definite possibility they address that in free agency. I can definitely see a guy like Zadarius Smith going there if he leaves Green Bay. However, I'm going to have them taking George Karlaftis. I really like George Karlaftis. This is a guy that could have easily gone right outside the top 10, if not in the top 10. Him falling here to 25 for the Bills is absolutely crazy. There's a bunch of directions they could go. They're a really well-built team. They don't have a lot of weaknesses. They just kind of had places they can upgrade, and I think Karlaftis probably addresses their worst position, replaces Mario Addison, who I don't think is particularly good. So I really like this pick for them. As we go to the Titans, who need a corner, and I'm just going to have them taking Andrew Booth Jr., best corner available, possibly best player available. Get yourself a guy that pairs with Caleb Farley. Don't really know where else to go with that. We're just gonna call it there. As we get to the Bucs, and the Bucs are another team that could go a lot of places. You could have them going wide receiver here. Maybe they take Garrett Wilson. Maybe you want to look at offensive line, get a guy to play opposite. Oh my God, names are escaping me today. It'll hit me in a moment. You could go corner. They had a lot of Tristan Wirfs. That's his name. God damn it. You can get a guy to play opposite Tristan Wirfs. You could go corner. There was a lot of issues with their cornerback depth. You have Carlton Davis coming up as a free agent. However, I'm just going to be bold. I'm going to have them taking the most important position, and that is quarterback. And who do I have them taking? I have them taking Sam Howell out of North Carolina. Maybe this is a little bit of a homer pick. They need a quarterback. I don't trust Kyle Trask. The free agent market isn't that good. Maybe they make a trade for a guy. I don't know. But I like Sam Howell. I think he's like Baker Mayfield with a higher ceiling. Is kind of how I would describe him. So that's what we're going to go with there at 27. And at 28, I'm making another weird pick. We have the Green Bay Packers, who have some needs. A lot of guys that could be leaving this offseason. Devontae Adams, one of them. Alan Lazard, I think, will most likely leave. So we're going to take a wide receiver. And I know Packers fans are foaming at the mouth. We have Garrett Wilson. We have Chris Olave, Jahan Dotson, David Bell. We're not going with any of those guys. We are going to go with Christian Watson out of North Dakota State. Now, this is kind of an out-of-the-box pick. I will admit this wasn't my original idea. I like Christian Watson, but I didn't consider him to be a first-round pick until I watched a mock draft that Bengal did where he kind of talked about how receivers are one of those positions where you don't think they're going to go as high as they do, but they do. And an example being Tutu Atwell going in the second round last year for the Rams. So with Christian Watson here, you have a big body type guy, real athletic, kind of sneaky athletic, to the point where he was returning kicks last year for North Dakota State. You usually don't see guys of his size doing that. Dude's like 6'4", 208, 6'5", they have him listed even bigger. You can see here, very good athlete with good speed, agility, and excellent body control. For taller receivers, surprisingly dynamic and displays the ability to consistently win against man coverage. Quick feet, surprisingly good vertical speed. Maybe he's not a first-round talent. That's perfectly fine to say, but receivers will go earlier than expected. I really like his fit in Green Bay's offense, so we are going to go with Christian Watson. Now, with the Miami Dolphins, this is another team that could go a lot of positions. They need a running back. They bring in Mike McDaniel, who is known for his run game, known for scheming up very, very good running games. However, I don't think any of the running backs in this class are worth a first-round pick. I think you're better off waiting. If you really want to get weird with a trade up in the second round, but you have a late second-round pick, go with that. So, with Miami here, I have them taking an offensive tackle. And that offensive tackle, we'll just exit out of here because it won't let me scroll down to the offensive tackles. This thing is being so glitchy because my laptop sucks. And we're going to take Bernard Raymond out of Central Michigan. This is a guy who, very, very interesting prospect. He's foreign from somewhere over in Eastern Europe. I want to say Austria. Switched from wide receiver to tight end to offensive lineman. So a lot of people are going to be turned off by that. Dude, 6'7", 305. He's big. Yeah, I was right. It's Austrian. But he's very athletic as a tackle, going to be your blindside blocker. He's picked up the position very, very quickly, very technically sound for only playing offensive tackle for a couple years. I love Raymond as a prospect. Honestly, as a Bears fan, if he were to slip, I would be okay with taking him in the early second round. So here at the end of the first, I don't think is too much of a reach here as we get to pick 30 with the Chiefs. I have them taking Jermaine Johnson. Best player available, first of all. Second of all, you need edge help. This dude is another just great, great athlete. One of the better players for Florida State. 6'5", 265, bigger dude. Exciting player, 4-star athlete. Great pickup here for the Chiefs. With the Bengals, very apparent what they're going to do. Very apparent. We're going offensive line. And this one kind of hurts me because this is a guy I want to fall to the Bears. But I had them taking Daniel Faalele. Real big dude. What's he listed out here? 6'8", 380. Some people have him listed as 6'9", 400. He's massive. He has all of the unteachable dynamics, as it says right here, because of his size and his agility and grace. He's just a freak. He's a literal freak. He doesn't understand some of the smaller stuff. Maybe he struggles with a little bit of the nuances of playing the offensive tackle position. But you teach that. You develop that. There's a good group there in Cincinnati. They will develop him into the type of tackle he needs to be. He has everything you can't teach. This is a guy that, if I'm a Bengals fan, I am ecstatic that he is becoming a big-time blocker for Joe Burrow. And finally, with the last pick in the first round, I said we would get to him. I'm actually going to go to him. We're not taking him, but we're going to go look at him here. This is my number one receiver in the draft, Garrett Wilson. Definitely a lot of places he could go here in the first round. I could see the Saints taking him down here around 18. Maybe the Eagles go for him. Patriots, Raiders. There's a lot of places he could go. He's my number one receiver. I just didn't necessarily like the fit or the positional value over some of the other guys taken. So him slipping to the second round is absolutely insane. He would be the type of guy that if the Bears were in a position, I keep talking about the Bears, I got to talk about them. They don't have a first-round pick. I got to find ways to talk about them. If they found a way to slip into the first round, they found a way to trade up into the first round, getting him or Chris Olave would be massive. However, we're talking about the Lions here. Let's talk about the Lions. And with their last pick, I have them taking Desmond Ritter out of Cincinnati. This is a team who needs a quarterback. You're luckily in a position where you have Jared Goff as kind of your bridge quarterback, right? Like, he's okay. He's not great. You don't want him starting long-term, but he's all right. And you draft Ritter to sit behind him. I think he has a ceiling that is so you take him here at 32. You're setting yourself up to develop this guy. I would be very excited as him to go play for this Lions team with Dan Campbell and the staff that he's building. So yeah, this is my first mock draft of the year. Again, February 21st. Things will definitely change. Trades will happen. I didn't do any trades here. So if you guys are interested in this, you want to see more of this, you want to see more of me specifically, I am on TikTok at BearsCool2211. I talk a lot of football over there. Make sure you tune into the podcast. We post an episode every week. Didn't get around to posting one this past week because of some scheduling issues, but I did put out a video about the Chicago Bears and everything going on with them. So make sure to check that out as well. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of this in the comments. I will probably make a video like this on TikTok just so it reaches more people. If you're here from TikTok, thank you. I appreciate the support. Again, follow me on there. Follow me on Twitter at BearsCool22. I tweet on there a good bit. Make sure to follow Andrew, my co-host. He's more of a basketball guy, but he talks a little bit about football. He is at WattyWatt on TikTok. So yeah, that's all for me today. Definitely will be doing more of these down the line. These are a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll do one with trades here coming soon. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.